Fans of the Big G, assemble and take a moment to appreciate how Godzilla Earth became the first ever kaiju to make the unruly humans leave their home planet. Boss move, don't you think? He then proceeded to change the ecosystem to his liking, because that's how Godzilla Earth rolls. This anime incarnation of the King of Monsters is the tallest in the franchise to date, towering at a height of 318 meters and weighing a whopping 100,000 metric tons. And unlike other incarnations of Godzilla, which were mutated by nuclear activity, Godzilla Earth actually evolved from plant organisms to protect its very creator, Mother Earth. To put things simply, this G-Man is a freaking huge plant beast with a freaking impressive resume. Shoot down an earthbound asteroid? Check. Survive point-blank nuclear detonations? Check. Change the planet's flora and fauna? Check. Become the most formidable ever Godzilla incarnation? Oh yes, double check. All thanks to his unique biology. Having said that, Godzilla Earth is not without a few weaknesses, so stay along with us to know all about Godzilla Earth's anatomy as we explore what makes him invincible and what his vulnerabilities are. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. Who is Godzilla Earth? Godzilla Earth was introduced to the kaiju franchise in 2017's Godzilla Planet of the Monsters, which kicked off an anime trilogy with 2 subsequent editions, the same year's Godzilla City on the Edge of Battle and 2018's Godzilla the Planet Eater. This anime version of Godzilla came with a mind-boggling inception story of having originated from plant species instead of belonging to an animal lineage. In 2030, when the carcass of a giant mutated turtle kaiju, Kamibas, washed ashore on Odo Island, biologist Kyohei Yamane deduced that it was the doing of a creature much larger than the Kamibas, and referred to it as Godzilla, after a legendary monster mentioned in Odo Island folklore. Godzilla Earth was said to be the end result of natural selection on Earth, making it the most powerful and the largest creature in Earth's history, with a height of over 300 meters, weighing 100,000 metric tons, and with muscle fibers integrated with metal, thus making this monster a walking power generator. Godzilla Earth was extremely aggressive towards both humans and other kaiju alike, perceiving them as threats to the planet, and is known to have left the battlefield only once during his face-off with Mothra. As a fierce protector of his homeland, Godzilla anticipated the arrival of the Goreth asteroid and dozed off immediately so that he could wake up strong enough to shoot it out of the sky. Yep, that happened. Meanwhile, the Exif Archbishop Metphes, the alien antagonist with the ultimate agenda of summoning the Exif god Ghidorah, gave an otherworldly explanation for Godzilla. He believed that Godzilla's species are not unique to Earth and have existed as ubiquitous beings on a universal scale, who must be eaten up by their deity, the three-headed dragon Ghidorah. As per Metphes, Godzilla has obliterated advanced civilizations on several other planets, with Ghidorah subduing the monster eventually. However, to Metphes' worst surprise, Godzilla Earth did not end up as Ghidorah's dinner. Instead, it was almost the other way around. Godzilla Earth was perceived as a highly hostile and dangerously aggressive monster, who, however, switched to a rather passive persona once he managed to eliminate most other kaiju, and wiped out most of the advanced human civilization, both of which posed a threat to the planet. Godzilla Earth also did not attempt to destroy the remaining egg of Mothra, a deity of the Hotua people, suggesting that he was willing to coexist with other races on Earth as long as they did not harm the planet. After driving away humanity and obliterating the kaiju threats, Godzilla Earth mostly remained dormant and was only triggered on 3 primary occasions: when the United Earth troops returned and killed Godzilla Phileas, when the Mechagodzilla City and the nanometal weapons were reactivated, and when Ghidorah descended on the planet. In that sense, Godzilla Earth operated as a reboot button for Earth, transforming the polluted planet into a primal version and allowing it to evolve from a fresh start. Godzilla Earth's cinematic history. Upon its first appearance in 2030, Godzilla Earth engaged in battles with other kaiju who had emerged to lay waste to Earth. Then he shifted his focus to tormenting humanity and destroying civilization for 18 long years. Godzilla's murderous spree resulted in the formation of the United Earth, an alliance of the humans and alien races of the Exif and the Bilisaludo. After their strongest weapon, Mechagodzilla, was lost to Godzilla Earth, the United Earth decided to flee to another constellation in two emigration ships, the Horatio and Aratrum. After 22 years in space, conditions on the planet Tau-E, where the refugees had moved to, became uninhabitable, and the population on Aratrum dwindled to 4,000. This prompted Captain Haruo Sakaki to devise a plan to obliterate Godzilla and reclaim Earth, where 20,000 years have passed since they left. And to everyone's surprise, they managed to kill Godzilla. Mission successful. If that sounded too good to be true, that's because it wasn't exactly true. Having killed Godzilla, the United Earth theorized that it's impossible even for Godzilla to maintain the exact same appearance for 20,000 years, given nature's rule of change, and that the 50-meter-tall monster they just killed was actually Godzilla Phileus, a smaller subspecies of the original one. Proving their brainstormed ideas to be correct, Godzilla Earth then emerged to face his longtime foes, the United Earth. Meanwhile, the several millennia that had passed on Earth enabled Godzilla Earth to grow to humongous proportions and become the ultimate king of destruction. Soon enough, the survivors of Godzilla Earth's attacks discovered the Mechagodzilla City, which remained hidden for 2,000 decades, and began fortifying it as an anti-Godzilla war station that could carry out their tried and tested plan to kill Godzilla on a larger scale. Sensing the threat, Godzilla Earth located the Mechagodzilla City and charged towards it, eventually falling through a trap. United Earth's plan backfired as their barrage of attacks only strengthened Godzilla Earth, turning him into a burning form and raising his surrounding temperature severely. Godzilla Earth subsequently destroyed Mechagodzilla City and went into hibernation yet again, only to be triggered by the arrival of the Exif god Void Ghidorah, a time-space warping entity from another dimension, who was summoned by the aforementioned alien priest Metphes. With the help of his foe-turned-allies humans, Godzilla was able to one-up Ghidorah and seal off the portals that Ghidorah raised its three ugly heads from. Meanwhile, Captain Haruo Sakaki, whose hatred for Godzilla restarted the man versus kaiju war 2,000 decades later, decided to perish in Godzilla's atomic breath as a symbolic gesture of ending mankind's resistance towards him. Subsequently, the human survivors left on Earth accepted their fate of coexisting with Godzilla Earth as their protector. What adaptations allow Godzilla Earth to grow such a massive size over 20,000 years? Evolutionary details. So what made Godzilla Earth grow into a colossal creature over the course of 2,000 decades? Okay, so this may sound a bit like a science lesson, but let's hear what the trilogy director Kobun Shizuno had to say about Godzilla Earth's evolution. The anime Godzilla was conceptualized to represent the epitome of evolutionary life, and a plant-based origin was assigned to it because trees survive for thousands of years with just a basic supply of light and water, which explains Godzilla's several millennia-old age. With trees, the fibrous tissues support their massive structure, just like the metallic tissues did in the case of Godzilla Earth, in the absence of a skeleton. During photosynthesis, trees generate electrons, and building on that idea is how the plant-based Godzilla Earth was enabled to produce electromagnetic energy. Kobun Shizuno explained, "We expanded from the idea of, if a plant had undergone superevolution due to its cellular structure, perhaps containing metallic elements, and its whole body became a power generator as a result," adding, "I heard that at the top of the evolution of the Earth are actually plants, and in this planet of the monsters, I thought Godzilla would be like a huge world tree at the center of its unique environment." In the anime trilogy, given Godzilla Earth's metallic structure, it is speculated that this plant-based beast produced may have absorbed obscene amounts of metal components during the process of its growth. When Godzilla first emerged in 2030, he was just 50 meters tall, but as he continued to grow uninterrupted for over 20,000 years, Godzilla Earth attained a colossal size and incorporated traits of various other organisms through the process of horizontal gene transfer. As a result of his unique evolution process, Godzilla Earth developed abilities such as regeneration, stealth, durability, and heat resistance, among others. The only other kaiju close to this anime version of Godzilla in terms of origin story is Biollante, the plant beast that was created by splicing a rose bush with Godzilla's cells. It could regenerate at an accelerated pace and weighed double that of Godzilla Earth at 200,000 metric tons, despite being less than half the height of Godzilla Earth. Physiological details. Since Godzilla Earth's initial design was inspired by the appearance of sacred trees in Shintoism, it only made sense that he had tree bark-like skin with a green and bluish hue. Despite his robust structure with defined abs and pectoral muscles on his chest, Godzilla Earth deviated from looking like an overloaded mass of muscles and instead had the appearance of age-old plant roots, enmeshed to form a beastly structure with moss-like details on his feet. Godzilla Earth got gigantic dorsal plates, which were shaped like the traditional maple leaf structure, but with more defined leaf veins, to reiterate his plant-based origins. These dorsal plates ran along the length of Godzilla's gigantic tail, which comes with a ridged underside and a spiky tip. Pretty groovy, huh? Before his emergence in the first anime movie, when Godzilla remained in a quiescent state, the natural landscape grew around his body, making him appear like part of the rocky terrain. In order to assign Godzilla Earth a non-carnivorous appearance, this kaiju was given a more rounded head with blunt teeth closely integrated with its jaws, instead of appearing like fangs. Godzilla's demeanor was aimed to be dignified like a god, which was achieved by assigning it calm blue eyes. Interestingly, Godzilla Earth sported a patch of ridged spikes on his lower jaw, resembling a beard, which was perhaps assigned to give the monster an aged appearance. Over the course of 20,000 years, Godzilla Earth's tree-like skin became intensely detailed, with layers of metallic muscles and tissues, giving it the appearance of a tree-covered rocky terrain. Similar to plants, Godzilla's body temperature was almost zilch, except when he took on his fiery avatar. Godzilla Earth's most significant adaptation. This brings us to Godzilla Earth's most notable evolutionary adaptation. Sometime during the course of 20,000 years, he developed the ability to convert excess amounts of electromagnetic energy into heat. After United Earth caused Godzilla Phileas to explode by overloading him with electromagnetic energy, they tried to do the same with Godzilla Earth. But it was an epic fail, as Godzilla Earth, during his transformative journey, had evolved to overcome this flaw in his biology and replaced it with the power of energy conversion. In a nail-biting moment, when the EMP harpoons latched onto Godzilla Earth's back and pumped in unrestricted amounts of electromagnetic charge, causing the monster to stand still, it created the illusion that Godzilla had been defeated. But because Godzilla Earth is always full of surprises, he did not explode like his smaller counterpart did. In a shocking turn of events, Godzilla began emitting a scarlet glow, causing the surrounding temperature to exceed 1,000 degrees Celsius. Good job, G-Man. Godzilla's rising temperature caused his surroundings to melt down, leaving the United Earth members defenseless because their bullets and planes would melt away before reaching Godzilla. How does Godzilla Earth's atomic breath work? Understanding his atomic and red spiral atomic breaths. A new version of Godzilla means a new version of the atomic breath. In Godzilla Earth's case, it was a concentrated beam of blue electromagnetic energy with pinpoint accuracy, which maxed out at a temperature of 3,000 gigawatts. If you need a minute to recuperate from that info, we understand. The incredibly destructive beam could annihilate cities like Los Angeles, cut through the Rocky Mountains, melt down parts of the Himalayas, and destroy continental plates. This version of the atomic breath as a defined stream of energy was sort of similar to that of Shin Godzilla's atomic blast, but with notable differences. The electromagnetic shock waves generated by Godzilla Earth's atomic breath destroyed electronic devices within a radius of 300 kilometers. The crew of the Airtrum theorized that Godzilla's atomic breath was solid enough to penetrate the Earth's atmosphere and target the ship orbiting the planet at a distance of 1,800 kilometers away. Godzilla's atomic breath did extend deep into space when he fired it at Ghidorah's portals. This defined stream of energy was fired from the front of Godzilla's mouth, instead of generating from inside his mouth. Hence, Godzilla didn't need to unclench his jaws generously to unleash his atomic breath. While charging up to fire his atomic breath, electric waves flickered through Godzilla's body and produced electromagnetic pulses, which severely contaminated the adjacent area. Godzilla Earth was capable of producing an even more lethal version of the beam called the red spiral atomic breath. It was so powerful that Godzilla needed to rest for 5 long years in preparation for D-Day. When it was time, Godzilla fired the Scarlet Beam from the Arctic and annihilated the Earth-bound asteroid Gorath in outer space like it was nothing. FYI, it had a diameter of 30 kilometers and a mass equivalent to that of the Moon. The red spiral atomic breath variant was theorized to have a range of a whopping 300 kilometers.
EM concentration rising.
In what ways do Godzilla Earth's metallic muscle fibers contribute to his strength and durability? Moving on, here's a fun fact. Being spawned from plant life, Godzilla Earth does not have a skeletal system. Presumably, that is what enables it to max out at a weight of 100,000 metric tons, which is almost that of the MonsterVerse Godzilla, who is only a fraction of Godzilla Earth's size. So what makes Godzilla Earth exceptionally durable? The absence of a skeleton is compensated by Godzilla's biometallic structure, which is made up of body tissues fused with metallic muscle fibers, thus making him the unconquerable creature he is. His metallic muscles are what help him channel the electromagnetic pulses through his body and also support his massive structure and weight. After the flying mechas, called the Vultures, fired shots at Godzilla Earth, the resulting sound resembled the noise of banging on metal. Such is Godzilla Earth's durability that when he fell through the trap in Mechagodzilla City, he showed no signs of damage. Also, when Ghidorah dropped Godzilla from a dangerous height, his massive structure caused an explosion on the landing spot, but he survived the fall. Godzilla Earth's epidermis comprised several layers of metallic muscle foam, which made him extremely resistant to severe levels of heat, so much so that he could walk out of multiple nuclear attacks unscathed, even without the protection of the asymmetrically permeable shield. Godzilla Earth's formidable defense, the asymmetrically permeable shield. Wait, what is that now? The asymmetrically permeable shield is Godzilla Earth's biggest weapon, claws down. Godzilla's body cells are like coils of magnets, which can absorb as well as generate obscene amounts of electromagnetic waves, with the help of an inbuilt organ called the amplifier, concealed within his dorsal plates. With these electromagnetic waves, Godzilla creates an impenetrable barrier around him called the asymmetrically permeable shield, which is mighty enough to thwart inbound nuclear missiles. And thus, of course, nothing less powerful stands a chance. However, the Void Ghidorah, because of its ability to ignore the laws of the universe, managed to pierce through the shield and chomp down on Godzilla's body. Mothra's scales also interfered with Godzilla's asymmetrically permeable shield, causing it to malfunction. This super cool shield deployment ability was inherited by the bird-like kaiju Servum, and also by Godzilla Phileus, both of which spawned from Godzilla Earth's cells. How does Godzilla Earth's ability to absorb radio waves impact his interaction with human technology? Now, would you believe us if we tell you that a kaiju of Godzilla Earth's proportions could go incognito and could not be tracked by the most advanced form of human technology of the near future? Godzilla Earth's unique cells had the ability to absorb radio waves, thus making it impossible for him to show up on the human-monitored radars when on land or on the sonar are when underwater. Godzilla can only be tracked on the system when firing his atomic breath, owing to a massive electromagnetic energy surge. But otherwise, he is impossible to track with his ability to be quiescent underwater, even with the uber-cool alien tech of the Exifs and Bilisaludos. P.S. Godzilla Earth is also a swimming champion, outrunning high-tech submarines of the 2040s and prompting the speculation that he may be equipped with an electromagnetic booster. How does Godzilla Earth's regeneration ability compare to other forms of biological regeneration seen in nature? Now, almost all Godzilla incarnations are known to have the power of regeneration. So what makes Godzilla Earth stand out? It's his instant tissue regeneration ability. Godzilla's multi-layered tissues regenerate a new layer immediately when the previous layer is incinerated or has become plasma. Due to this ability, Godzilla Earth is able to survive incessant nuclear bombings, making him practically invulnerable. Even when his dorsal plates were destroyed during the battle at Mechagodzilla City and his body became overcharged with electromagnetic energy, Godzilla was able to regenerate his plates and recuperate soon enough to face Void Godzilla in the subsequent movie. What are the implications of Godzilla Earth's radiation emission on the surrounding ecosystem? Adding to Godzilla Earth's bizarre biology and unique powers was his ability to constantly exude radiation from his body. Though Godzilla Earth could not be tracked by the high-density radiation it emitted, the radioactive after-effects of Godzilla passing by an area made it extremely lethal for humans to survive, forcing them to abandon the location. Godzilla Earth's radioactive residue, after he went on a destructive spree, remained in an area for a long span of time, with the contamination further attracting other kaiju to relocate to the spot. The radioactive pollution created by Godzilla Earth could not be tackled until the Bilisaludos introduced technologies powered by the anti-nuclear energy bacteria. Exploring Godzilla Earth's super oscillatory wave and plasma cutter moves. As a result of growing over 20 millennia, Godzilla Earth developed the ability to generate shockwaves through his roar, a defensive move known as the super oscillatory wave. Godzilla's dorsal plates crackle up with power when he charges up for his destructive roar, which creates a resonance phenomenon, and subsequently massive shockwaves of vibrated air. Despite being generated by sound, this shockwave is able to hit targets directly even from a mile away. The electromagnetic waves generated by Godzilla's roar were powerful enough to diminish the targeting substance to its molecular level. Godzilla Earth has another impressive ability in his arsenal. He can generate plasma shockwaves by swinging his tail at supersonic speeds of Mach 3 or 4, a move which is known as the plasma cutter. The shockwave produced by Godzilla Earth's tail swipe is destructive enough to obliterate everything in a range of over 600 meters. Godzilla Earth marked his first anime appearance by exhibiting the plasma cutter move, which wiped out almost all of United Earth troops. Exploring the vulnerabilities in Godzilla Earth's formidable physiology. Interestingly, the largest, most powerful Godzilla incarnation ever to walk the Earth comes with a number of vulnerabilities. First, Godzilla Earth may be immune to nuke attacks and conventional weaponry, but his atomic breath appears to be his own worst enemy. During his battle with Mothra, the Moth Kaiju deflected Godzilla Earth's electromagnetic atomic stream back at him, hitting him in the torso and making him fall to the ground on all fours. Mothra 1, Godzilla 0. In another move, Mothra deflected the atomic breath back at his dorsal plates, making them smoke. Mothra 2, Godzilla still 0. These deflected attacks wounded Godzilla Earth enough for him to leave the battlefield to recuperate. Second, Godzilla's asymmetrically permeable shield did not work against Void Ghidorah, who inhabits the void between dimensions and does not abide by the rules of the Earth. Moreover, Godzilla was unable to establish physical contact with Ghidorah, as his claw attacks phased through the dragon monster's serpentine body. However, Ghidorah was able to sink its teeth into Godzilla and siphon off his electromagnetic energy, until Metphies' psychic connection with Ghidorah was severed. Then onwards, Ghidorah was toast, but for the most part of the battle, he did have the upper hand on Godzilla. No one is perfect, and neither is Godzilla Earth. One major weakness of this kaiju was that if the amplifier organ located in its dorsal plates, which generates the protective shield, is somehow destroyed, then Godzilla remains vulnerable to attacks till the organ is regenerated. United Earth was able to kill Godzilla Phileas, exploiting this weakness. But in Godzilla Earth's case, things got a little heated, quite literally. Once Godzilla was immobilized by nanometal, the EMP harpoons began overloading him with electromagnetic energy. As explained earlier, instead of exploding like Godzilla Phileas, Godzilla Earth converted the excess electromagnetic energy into pure heat. He tried the same move against Ghidorah when his body temperature exceeded 3,000 degrees Celsius, but it didn't quite work against the dragon monster's energy-draining abilities. Can any human-made weapon bring Godzilla Earth to his knees? Meanwhile, there was some anti-Godzilla weaponry that the United Earth came up with. Topping the list is the EMP harpoon, which is an upgraded version of the EMP probe that caused Godzilla Phileas to explode. The sharp-headed harpoons were designed to dig into Godzilla's metallic flesh and generate an overload of electromagnetic pulse. Two of these skewered Godzilla Earth when he was trapped in Mechagodzilla City and covered in nanometal. But instead of causing him to blow up, the weapons charged up Godzilla to lethal levels, causing the EMP harpoons to melt away. The next anti-Godzilla weapon that was created by the humans and the Bilisaludos over the course of 4 years was the Mechagodzilla, using nanometal technology. However, it malfunctioned and refused to activate properly, proving to be an epic failure against Godzilla Earth. While the mecha was seemingly lost during the battle at the foot of Mount Fuji, the nanometal continued to evolve over 20,000 years to become the fortified Mechagodzilla City. Fancy a tour of this city? Here you go. While the body of the Mechagodzilla was destroyed by Godzilla Earth years ago, the head was tossed at the base of Mount Fuji, and a city sprouted all around it with the evolving nanometal. Mechagodzilla City, spanning across kilometers, was a fortified area full of anti-Godzilla weaponry, with a command center built into it later by the Bilisaludo. The large city was transformed into a death trap for Godzilla Earth, but he caused the nanometallic city to melt down with his not-so-humble atomic breath. Now, what is this nanometal that keeps cropping up? In the words of Metphys, in essence, it's a wicked thing. It's no different from a monster. It's an extraterrestrial substance that was created by the Bilisaludo engineers and used to construct the Mechagodzilla. The aerial flight vehicles, the Vultures, were also created with nanometal. Even the Hotua people constructed their weapons with nanometal, as it had the power of resisting kaiju attacks. In its vapor form, the nanometal was spritzed around Mechagodzilla City as a thermal buffer against Godzilla's atomic breath. In its liquid form, nanometal glides across a surface, covering it completely before solidifying the object. When Godzilla was trapped in Mechagodzilla City, generous amounts of liquid nanometal was showered on him, which immediately hardened and immobilized the kaiju, making him vulnerable to the EMP harpoon attacks. Can Godzilla Earth reproduce? Let's address another intriguing factor about Godzilla Earth's biology. Can he reproduce? In addition to Godzilla Earth's incredible regenerative abilities, this kaiju also has excellent reproductive abilities, which enabled him to spawn new species which inherited his DNA. Given Godzilla Earth's plant-based origins, the reproduction procedure mimics that of vegetative propagation, such as when a bunch of cells from Godzilla Earth are separated, they can spawn into a new subspecies altogether. Godzilla Phileas was created as a result of this cell division procedure of reproduction. The bird-like monsters Servum were also spawned from Godzilla Earth's cells, with both Phileas and Servum inheriting the Big G's metallic tissues and the ability to generate electromagnetic pulses. Godzilla was a master of terraforming, which is modifying Earth's atmosphere and topography. During Godzilla Earth's unopposed dominance over the planet for 20,000 years, his DNA spread over Earth's ecosystem, converting the flora and fauna to his liking, establishing itself as a world tree. The terrestrial plants displayed the same metallic properties as that of Godzilla's biological composition. These plants, containing Godzilla's DNA, overload the atmosphere with their pollen, causing severe electromagnetic interference. When the united Earth returned to the planet after 20,000 years, the Earth they had left behind had completely changed. It is also theorized that, like the predecessors of the kaiju, Godzilla Earth 2 possessed some form of the dominant mutagenic G cells, which was passed down through the Earth's food chain, transforming the genetic composition of life forms forever. Is Godzilla Earth immortal? This brings us to the question, is Godzilla Earth immortal? We know that Godzilla first made landfall in 2030 and has existed for over 20,000 years since then, growing to humongous proportions and displaying incredible capabilities. While his exceptional longevity and durability can be credited to his regenerative powers, and while the G-Man may continue to transform Earth into his image, immortality is not an attribute that's been assigned to him officially. However, the environmental biologist Martin Lazari speculates, among other theories, that Godzilla may potentially be immortal. Outro. So that's it, folks. Our take on the curious case of Godzilla Earth's biology, which only directs to one glaring point: nature beats all. Godzilla Earth was believed to be a monster that wanted to rule Earth, but was eventually perceived to be a defensive incarnation of the planet itself. As a creative masterpiece, Godzilla Earth takes the signature elements of the King of Monsters and combines them with that of the unique factors designated for the anime franchise. If you have any interesting theories about Godzilla Earth's anatomy, please share them in the comments below. And if you liked our video, please give us a shout out and don't forget to watch this space for more marvelous content.